If I crack my phone doing this, there will be hell to pay. Hi, welcome back to Hill's Kitchen. Trying it from a new angle. I'm like, ooh, you know, it would be so much easier if y'all could actually see me while I cook instead of me having to like slice it. Today, we're making speedy sausage rigatoni. I love pasta, like more than life itself. My time in Italy converted me. And I'm gonna be real, I've never had a bad pasta meal from HelloFresh, so. Oil is in one pan and we're waiting for the water to boil for the pasta. Today's topic is rest. I am now qualified to talk about this. Younger me was not because I was doing too much, but now I'm at a point in my life where I'm like, oh my God, rest really matters. Rest is villainized. She's villainized by the culture because it's like the opposite of grind culture. To actually rest, take care of yourself, and to be mindful of what your body needs requires you to slow down. What you eat, how much time you spend in front of a screen, how much time you spend outdoors versus indoors, all of that takes a high level of mindfulness. And I feel like no one ever taught me that. So to me, rest was just going to sleep. And in true little kid fashion, I never liked going to sleep. I was like, oh, I know anything. And I feel like as I've gotten older and realized that like it takes so much hard work to accomplish what you want in this life, sleep is at a premium. Like you don't have time to sleep the way you used to. And then that makes you really revisit the concept of rest because you're like, oh wow, I actually do need to let my body recharge and not constantly be worried about what's due, what's coming up next, the bills I have to pay, like all these things I have to do. I think no one ever explaining the concept of rest to me made me feel like I should feel guilty for resting. Because let's get real, in order for you to rest, you have to say no to things. I was never good at that growing up. I wanted to help everybody, be a part of everything. So I would say yes to everything. And realistically, you have to have boundaries in order to allow yourself to rest. You don't want your body to give out on you. And a great way to prevent that is to actually listen to your body and know when to sit down and rest. Washing my hands because I just dealt with me. So give me like 30 seconds. Anyway, like I was saying, literally the older I get, the more I value rest. And I think it's because finally understanding boundaries as I've gotten older and saying no to things actually allows you to rest. Because I learned that the hard way, there were several years of my life where I was straight up running myself ragged. I didn't have time to really eat, didn't have time to get a lot of sleep, didn't have time for friends. Like I was just working nonstop, studying nonstop. I remember there would be periods where I'd be like, oh, when's the next time I have a day to myself or a day I can sleep in? And it would be like once a month. And that period of my life then led to me feeling very burned out and like really being at rock bottom. Even though I had the good sense after that to stop treating my body like trash, my body straight up said, good, because I'm not gonna let you do that anymore. And literally I have to rest because I just don't have the motivation and the like automatic energy the way you do when you're like in high school and college. Like now at 27, like if God don't do it, it really won't get done. Like I don't have the energy to just do everything every day. Let me just give y'all the rundown real quick. I have school, I have work, I have pro bono, I have a social life, I have like church commitments, and then I have to like maintain this apartment because it's just me. And then obviously I like try to read, and then I'm like commuting every day for several days out the week, not every day. And then now I'm kind of like taking on this like side hustle, and then I have YouTube. So again, it's like I have 1,000,001 things going on, right? But it's funny, I don't feel burned out the way I did when I was younger. And I think it's because of how much I rest. So it's like I'm going ham like Tuesday through Friday. Those are the days where I have work, have class, and I'm like going across town. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday are mine. Ooh, we gotta pour the pasta as the water is boiling. Anyway, I was saying that law school actually taught me how to prioritize rest because it's so demanding, it's so consuming that you don't have time to say yes to everything and do the most. You actually need to like find the time to sleep because otherwise you won't. I see how people don't sleep in law school, but I sat myself down last summer and said, that's not gonna be me. I rest more than most people in this program, which I think actually allows me to go as hard as I do because I only work certain days. I only say yes to so many things and I don't let school consume me. I'm gonna check on this little meat while I'm talking. I just want this to be said in case somebody needs to hear it. You are not a failure because you need to rest. You are not a bad person because your body has limits and you're trying to respect it. And you're definitely not a bad person for like respecting your mental health, knowing when to draw the line, and that means you can't be a part of everything. You are doing yourself so many favors because literally, if I knew that at like 18, 19 years old, I would have lived a completely different life. And that's the tea. In my mind, I felt like you could do everything and anything and it would never catch up with you. I know that sounds silly to say out loud, but that was really how I felt. I was a workhorse. In true Capricorn fashion, I was a workaholic. It's very easy to get caught up on the hamster wheel and be like, oh, I gotta go, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. I need extracurriculars, I need work, I need this and that. And you don't have time to actually enjoy your life. That's the point it reached for me, where I was like, I'm always busy, I'm always tired, I'm always going through some shit. And I was like, when are we ever gonna be done with that? I can say now at a different point in my life that rest very much does matter. I cannot do all that I do if I wasn't taking rest seriously. And by me respecting that, instead of like pushing myself past my limits or like feeling as if I need to keep up with other people, I'm like, it'll get done. And I do what I need to do for myself. I'm not pressed about what everybody else is doing or like what they do or don't need. An empty well serves nobody. Like you have to always be like checking in with yourself and pouring back into yourself. Otherwise, nothing gets done. If somebody had sat younger me down and said, hey, if you could just like let yourself have these off days and you could actually set boundaries, you would actually enjoy these years of your life. If somebody had sat me down and told me that, the power I would have had. Everything is stirring, everything is cooking, doing what it's supposed to do. Culture and socioeconomics definitely play a huge role in this. And I feel like because I grew up middle class in America, as well as being a Black woman, I never felt like I was allowed to rest as I now understand it and define it. Again, I felt like I had to always be doing something, always be working, always be striving towards something. I personally feel like in Black culture, not only are Black women expected to like be everything and do everything, but I also feel like Black millennials and Black Gen Zs are expected to like, be the comeuppance for their family. So you resting and you saying no to things seems like a failure. It seems preposterous. It's like, well, why aren't you going for the scholarship? Why aren't you doing this project and this and that? They expect you to be getting a full ride, getting a 4.0, being a lawyer, doctor, engineer, or whatever. And if you're not doing that, or you're not at the pinnacle of your craft and at school and at work and in volunteering, they're kind of like, well, baby, what are you doing? You got to have something to show for yourself. And I feel like that pressure on top of your own internal struggles can really combine to make this really nasty day-to-day battle of being like, oh my God, I gotta do this. And it's time out for all that. Now that I'm older, I feel like rest is actually any actions that allow you to recover mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Sleep is just physical. Like it definitely has an impact on your emotions and your mental health, but there's so many restful actions that you need to take anyway that you take for granted. Because when you equate it to sleep, then you're like, oh, well, I'm good if I got enough sleep. When in actuality, you can sleep just fine and still feel drained. Like you just feel like, ugh. Like, is that exact emotion, just, ugh. I've realized that, like, there's so many ways to rest that don't involve sleep. Listening to a podcast or, being out in nature or meditating, a day where you're just out with friends, a day where you're just out with, like, your significant other. I feel like things that let you recharge beyond sleep is so beneficial. Because there's only so much sleep you can get on a day-to-day basis. But filling the daytime with all these, like, enjoyable, lighthearted activities that allow your body and your brain to focus on something else is just as restful as sleep, in my opinion. Dude, are you kidding me? What in the hell? Oh no. Oh no. Well, the pasta's perfect, even though we dropped some on the floor. The pasta is done. We're just letting the chicken cook a little bit, and then we're gonna add these spinach. Yes, rinse the spinach, add her, and that's that one. One could say self-care is an extension of rest, but self-care can be high maintenance. Self-care can be a pain in the ass sometimes, and I feel like rest to me are things that you enjoy, things that like force you to slow down. To me, you don't have to spend money to rest. You don't have to be around other people to rest. Whereas I feel like self-care requires all these little actions that make you feel as if you are like together. So it is, you know, brushing your teeth, showering, like all this sort of stuff. For some people that feels like work. So I feel like self-care and rest go together, but I feel like they're different. So there's that. You are only one person. You only have so much time, so much energy, so much capacity, and you really can't use that fully nonstop and think it will never catch up with you. You actually have to sit the fuck down. Like things I've had to learn the hard way, you actually need to know when to sit down. I've genuinely looked forward to the days or time blocks I have when I'm not expected to be somewhere and I'm not worried about something, which is tough because I'm always expected to be somewhere and I'm always worried about something. But I've had to learn to really like tune that out and allow myself the grace and the space to be a human being. I gotta say no to some things. I gotta let some girls down sometimes because I know what it's like to not do that, and it is not a good look. So the last thing I wanted to say was, other than me crashing and burning a number of times and that making me value rest, the other thing that made me value rest was recognizing that rest is actually a biblical concept. If God knew when to sit down, so should you. Like point blank in the period. That's what the Sabbath is about. You know when to sit down. And I realized we are not meant to like have this infinite capacity. We actually need to have boundaries, limits, and respect them. Once I came to terms with that, I was like, why do I feel bad about resting? Why do I feel bad about saying no? Why do I feel bad about taking time for myself? I deserve that. And I don't need to earn it. Like I can actually rest and build it into my schedule, because if we're being real, the Sabbath was built into God's schedule. Like the 7th day, what he straight up dedicated for rest. Let me not wait till I'm exhausted and burned out and stressed and frustrated to rest. Let's always do it consistently. Let's always build it into our schedule. And it's done wonders for my life. I cannot recommend it enough. I feel like the more balanced you are, the more rest you're including, and that allows you to live a really happy, productive, whole life. And that's it. The cheese is on there. Everything looks amazing. We're gonna try it just to make sure I don't lead y'all astray. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling y'all, HelloFresh don't make a bad pasta meal. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you feel so inclined, like, comment, share, subscribe. And as I always say, there's always food to cook and always something to get off your chest. So yes, I hope this video helped you rest actually. Cooking is good ASMR. Like it just soothes the soul, calms the spirit. My personality, I hope it helps somebody. I hope it did something today. It wasn't just meant to just live and die with me. So I'm ready to rest. I'm ready to go sit down and eat and rest. So off I go.